George?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Truman Show.
What a day, the Truman Show, and good night. It's been a long day. I ate too much cake. Jappy, what's going on this morning? Gino is here. Man, life is great, Gino.
Oh, we're getting ready to rock. What a better way to ring in the new year than with the three of us right here, getting everybody ready, right? We're going to have some fun. We're going to get everybody set up. Got a big weekend of racing coming up at Santa Anita. Some big stakes because of the weather. They pushed a lot of the grass races back. Today was all dirt on Friday. So some of the grass races that were supposed to be scheduled earlier in the week, they'll be Saturday, they'll be Sunday. They are going to be seeding the Pick 5 on Sunday with 50,000. How cool is that? So and we got the Pick'em contest coming back Saturday, Sunday. So much going on at Santa Anita.
Yeah, we got some great stuff. And that announcement that they made about the 50,000, that is, I know Chappie and I and Gino, our favorite bets are the Pick 5. So just to have that, just dead money, free money, and a nice pot of $50,000. I know that it's going to pique the interest of handicappers. It's piqued my interest. If I was going to bet, $100 Pick 5, I'm going to make it $150 Pick 5.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's certainly worth it, and usually it shows in the payoffs. So definitely a great announcement, and I think it's that we are lucky here at Santa Anita that the guys in charge are really horse players at heart. So this is really a fan appreciation move because they really appreciate the fans, and we had some issues opening day with the rain, bada bing, and just as a hey, sorry guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. This is what we're going to do to you. So we're lucky our management team is just is thinking of the horse player.
Yep.
Yeah. Like you guys said, well done by them. And I think everybody's going to look forward to this weekend, a new year, and grass racing. We finally have some dry weather coming up.
Yep.
So the future looks bright. I think 2021 for the year of us was the year of bad beats.
Yeah.
So let's turn the page, as Bob Seger would say, and let's get on to the year of winning in 2022.
Get that clean ledger right now, right?
Ledger.
Starting on there's nothing better than that. And looking and you're not, that ROI isn't negative, right? Tomorrow, everybody gets to start fresh. It's great. So yeah, we're gonna get off on a really nice bang for everyone.
I went to XBTV and I got a handicapping booster shot. I got a booster shot right here, so I think I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, I needed 3 of them.
It's a good booster shot. All right, let's start off. We're going to go over races Saturday and races Sunday, all the stakes races and a couple of other races, and we're going to start tomorrow with race number 1. So we're kicking it right off the top. And Chappie, I know you kind of fancy this race. Who do you like in race number 1 here? How do you see it?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at a little bit of the obvious. The favorite is actually the 5-horse Liberty Forever with Flavian Pratt, of course, up for Ruben Alvarado, formerly of Peter Miller fame. The one that actually surprises me that isn't the morning line favorite is the 11 Who's Candy. Maybe that outside draw going 6 panels. But first of all, a couple things. This horse is first time Lasix, has speed. Maldonado's up, so we know what the intentions are there. Ran second to Sumter, who's coming back in stake ranks. And most importantly, ran against Open Company, yet the rest of these were against state breds. Now back in against California breds only. I think not only is this horse the one to catch, but clearly the one to beat, Gino.
Very much agree. And with Corner, we always know that with horses that are lightly raced early on, he does such a great job at getting them ready first time out, second time out, early on. This horse fired right off the bat, a really big effort. And if nobody else goes, you know what they're going to do with Maldonado. Completely agree. I thought this was a must use if you're playing early pick 5s. And the probably the only other horse I was thinking about using sort of be a wild card in the 2 worst Reed Sanchez, who's going to be trying the turf for the first time. This horse is actually bred pretty well for the grass. 3 winning turf sibs. All of them are multiple winners on the grass. So 4 of this horse's siblings tried the turf. The 4th one only raced on it 1 time. The other 3 all won multiple times on it. And in the debut, this horse actually ran into a really nice horse named Straight Up G, who came back to win the King Glorious. That's the Jim Rome runner. So he ran into a real talented horse. He's also going to get Lasix for the first time. And I think he will improve on the turf. He's got that race of foundation under his belt. And because it wasn't that great, he might be a little sneakier in here, right? He didn't run second or didn't run like a bang-up race on the dirt, but he does have that upside on the turf. I think we may have the right 2 in there if you're trying to maybe beat Liberty Forever, Chappie, or at least a couple horses to maybe use in the early pick 5.
Okay, that's what G said, because the horse comes out of that same race as straight up G. So
Exactly.
maybe we can make a G.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to go over every race, but, I got to do a handicapping. I do the handicapping for the program, and you can get all my picks online as well at santanita.com under the Santa Anita Oi section. So if you want to know what my picks are and you want to hear them race by race, then spoiler alert, cover your ears, because when I was doing this for the races, I started, in the first race, I liked the 5, so I picked him. Second race, I like a horse and was ridden by Pratt. Third race, I like a horse ridden by Pratt. Gino, every single one of my top picks on Saturday is ridden by Flavian Pratt.
Isn't he in all 10? He's in all 10, right?
All 10. I wasn't trying. Just the way they came out. And I was laughing after a while. After like race 7, is like, am I going to pick Pratt again? And yes, I picked Pratt again. I had him in every single race. I can't believe it.
It's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy when you start going through. I think last weekend was similar, where you're starting to map it out. And it's like every race he's on a horse that's like 7-2 or under. Yeah. Every race is like one of the top 3 choices. But that's what happens when you're that good. Everybody wants to put you on their live horses in every race. And I think the next race we were going to talk about was the 6th, the stakes race. Yeah. I mean, who do you start with in that race, just from a conversation standpoint? Yeah. The speed from the inside, and Pratt's aboard. You may not like the horse, but as far as how the race is going to shape up, Beer Can Man is going to have a say in this race from the inside with the type of speed that he has. So, every race, it's tough to look past Pratt, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in this race.
He's actually on the morning line favorite in every single race except the last, where he's on the second choice. So I've never seen that either. That's pretty crazy. But you're going to try to beat Beer Can Man with Pratt and Glatt. And who are you going to go to bat with?
We're going to go to Delaware here. He's kind of a new face. He's coming into the Patty Gallagher barn for the first time. And now his last couple races have not been against graded stakes company. Like, this is a grade 2, for example. But, nowadays you really got to dig into each race, because every grade 2 isn't created the same. Grade 1s are strong, sometimes not as strong as grade 3 races wherever they show up. You dig into it. Delaware was racing recently against a horse named Flavius, who's a multiple stakes winner. Tell Your Daddy came right out of that race to win a grade 2 stakes next out. Value Proposition, who you see, also came to win a stakes next out. I think Delaware has been facing really nice company. This is a horse who's just been behind horses who've been a little bit better than him. And if you go down a little bit deeper, he actually broke his maiden at 6 furlongs. He has a good race on the bottom of the page at 7 furlongs. And the way that the hill always plays a little bit better to horses that are more milers. I think Delaware is going to have a really big opportunity in this spot, because it feels like Beer Can Man, who I think has got a lot of ability, and Momos also a lot of ability. Commander also a lot of ability. I think they might be more of the like 5.5ers than the true down the hill horses. Sometimes the 5.5 turf sprints play out a little differently. Commander has one going 6.5, but the hill plays out a little different. So I'll take my shot with Delaware here, who I think is a pretty classy horse. And if you're anything around, I thought the line was actually a little high. If this horse is anything over 7-2, I'll jump in and make a win wager here.
Pretty strong. I can't wait to have racing down the hill again. One of my favorite courses to watch and wager on. And I think that the rain obviously didn't rain today. I think it's going to stave off, and it'll be exciting to see down the hill. The Joe Hernandez, named after one of the most famous track announcers ever, and certainly here at Santa Anita, Chappie.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Hopefully we will be down the hill, obviously, with any moisture whatsoever. There is no rain in the forecast for the next 10 days, but we did get pounded on. So let's hope we're on the turf. I think we will be tomorrow. I don't think that should be a problem, but let's hope we do stay down the hill. It's my favorite race to bet. It's just amazing. And it's just great to see it back and happening again. And hats off to, once again, the team here to bring those races back to the downhill turf course.
Yeah, the Joe Hernandez Stakes also starts the late pick 5. And, I mean, just as a side note, has nothing to do with anything, but whenever I see Delaware, it always reminds me of my high school days. I played basketball junior and senior year, and we had a heckler that would heckle the other team. And his line was always the same line, no matter who we played against. He would yell, he'd go, "Hey, number 7, where you from? Delaware? You're a scrub from Delaware." And he said that every game, every day. He picked a player and insulted him by telling him he was from Delaware. And so when I see Delaware, I think, oh, he's a scrub.
Hopefully it's different tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully tomorrow it's not going to be an insult.
Right. Race number 7 is not a sham. It's the real McCoy. And you got some of the best newly turned 3-year-olds getting ready for that Triple Crown bid. We got some exciting runners in this race. It's a small field, but chock-a-block full of talent. Chappie, you think the one has got talent, even though he's been showing most of his talent on the grass. You think he's going to transfer well to the dirt mile?
I do. This is a very interesting race. The only problem I see here is that the two horses that look like the two main speeds are both trained by Bob Baffert. So, yeah. Newgrange, I don't know what to make out of that race, because the horses who ran second and third came back, which I thought was going to be a very, very key race, came back to run okay today.
Man, not even, they were kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Very disappointing. Yeah, and that is God Thunder and Godsend. And I thought God Thunder would run a much better race. Yeah. Bob's not going to send them both. That's my scare.
That's what's hard. Exactly. Like you're. That's how you have to try to think this race out, right? Because if the two of them both go, then it would absolutely set up nicely for a horse like McKinnon. But if one of the two goes and the other one sits second, they could just play merry-go-round, all the way around. I agree with you on just liking the chances of McKinnon overall, and I'm not going to get discouraged by if he doesn't run the best race in this spot because of the way the race may shape up. If he were to show up in like a really good Kentucky Derby prep with a big field, I'd really like his chances because he seems super versatile. He's overcome trouble now multiple times. He had legitimate trouble in the Breeders' Cup last time out. When that happens, most horses just pack it in. To be able to have that kind of trouble in a race against that quality and run that well, I mean, he's got a ton of ability. And the only time he ran on the dirt, it was 4.5. We don't know that he's not a dirt horse. In fact, his dam was grade 3 placed and multiple stakes placed on the dirt, one on the dirt, lone sibling, one on the dirt at Churchill. So there's plenty of reason to think he'd be okay on the dirt. It's just, can he keep up with those other two today?
I'm hoping that he sits second. He drew the rail anyways, which I think could be an advantage here, because one of the two Bafferts is going to send. And as long as he breaks well enough, I actually think he's a tactical, like Gino said. Look, he's an American Pharaoh. They run on all surfaces. I watched the workout of McKinnon on XBTV, and he worked very well in my eyes. So I don't think that the dirt is a problem. It's funny, going back to one other horse who's a dead closer, Oviatt Class. We had Kent DeSormo on the Morning Line Sports Show before this horse ever ran. And we said, is there anybody you've been working in the mornings that we can bet on? He said, watch out for this horse named Oviatt Class. Of course, it went long on the turf the first time. We said, that horse didn't run any well. And then it stormed. When it went long is when it really got good. But that horse is clearly a deep closer, and the pace is the only thing that scares me. But I'm still sticking with McKinnon, Georgie. I know you like Rockefeller.
I like Rockefeller, and for a lot of the reasons that you guys mentioned. I just can't see Bob Baffert sending them both in a suicidal speed duel. It's just not going to happen. And I think that Rockefeller's the proven commodity going 2 turns. Still learning New Grange, so maybe he's going to possibly try to sit with New Grange. I just can't see them both going for it. And Pratt just came off a nice win with Rockefeller in the Nashua, earned the 6th on the Thoroughgrass sheets, which I love the Thoroughgrass sheets. And the second best numbers on the sheets is actually number 2, Oviatt Class. And Oviatt Class, the connections, both the DeSormos, they had an interview there and they were really high on this one. You talk about problems. He had some big problems as well in the BC Juvenile. And, Corniche is just a beast. So it's no shame to run, even though he was fifth. But he encountered problems. He still ran an 8 on the sheets, the second best number. Oviatt class, I think, has to have a long look. This is just a tough race up and down. And, there's no cinches in this race.
I think it's like Gino said, the only thing is Oviatt class could really be the one with a pace problem in a small
exactly
field.
right.
If he's clearly a dead closer,
if this horse catches, and if for some reason they may have to go somewhere else for a prep, right? If they have to end up going to a different track where there might be a bigger field, maybe Oaklawn or somewhere else, and they get a little more pace to run at, because that's the problem with him. He's just been, he's at the mercy. If there's a small field and there's not a lot of speed, he's just not going to win. He has no chance. He's never going to be able to win in that kind of a spot. So,
if you got stable mail like most of us do, the way I envision it, I use my crystal ball and try to see into the future. Oviatt class is not going to run well. His PPs are going to show he came in fourth. People would go, he's no good. But they didn't see that there was no pace in the race. When he gets in a big field and there's some pace, this is a one to look at in the future and probably going to pay, be a great price in a big field.
He'll pop.
Unless if he runs well and wins or comes, just misses today, then that goes out the window. But if the way you envision it, I envision it, he's not going to have any pace to run into, but definitely one to watch as they move to big fields with possible pace pressure early. This is one of the ones that's certainly talented.
Yeah. And with Rockefeller, also the horse that he beat, Cook Creek, he runs at about 1:00 at Aqueduct in the Jerome earlier in the day. So a couple hours before this race goes, if that horse runs well there, that'll flatter his form even more. Rockefeller's, it'll make you, realize that was a pretty strong effort last time out. So you can keep an eye on that race. He's like the 5-2 favorite, I think, in the Jerome there. So he's going to be pretty tough.
And I like looking at other races as barometers. Like, for instance, God Thunder and Godsend ran so poorly. It really diminished my thoughts of New Grange. I just, God Thunder didn't impress at all. Neither did Godsend. That to me, I've lowered my expectations of New Grange.
Yeah.
All right, race number 8 is the Bobby Frankel, and we got a number of horses that are disappointments to Chappie. These are horses which you can say that about every other race. I know that, but still, in this race, man, you got Bodicita, you got England's Rose. Man, these are names that Chappie, even though he has no hair, was pulling his hair out with performances that coulda, shoulda, woulda. Chappie.
I've been betting Bodicita and England's Rose since like the late 70s, and those horses have been around. Every race they run, I bet them every single time. The only reason I think I might get lucky here is I do think that Luck is the horse to beat and who I'm going to bet tomorrow. I know it's the favorite. Luck was so impressive that first time out.
Oh, yeah.
Then the second time out in the Rodeo Drive, going to Vegas, got a fairly easy lead and is tough to beat on the front end. And then last time out, they ran so slow going. They were 50 and change. Neige Blanche kind of got headed, but he was cruising on the lead and pulled away. I think Luck comes back and scores today. And now that means England's Rose or Bodicita is going to win because I'm not going to have my money on them. But at least I don't have any hair to pull out.
Luck's debut race. I mean, I remember, Chappie, we were here, and I thought lost all chance at the start. I was like, okay, that horse is not going to win. Even though he got a lot of money, he's definitely going to lose. And then she just turned in a scintillating performance to come from way out of it. And I was like, wow, this mare's got talent. So Luck is certainly one of the ones, but you got some bombs in here that might make it interesting, Gino.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if Luck gets beat, it might be the way that she got beat last time out by a horse who gets out front and slows things down like Mraz. Because who else is going to go with Mraz early on? I don't even know. Like Mucho Unusual has some kind of tactical.
Used to be more of a front runner, Mucho Unusual, right? She's gotten older. She's
a little more tactical, and Sloan Garden, people might see that she threw up some ones last time, but that was very slow up at Golden Gate. That's not the kind of speed that Mraz has. I think that's got to be the game plan for Mraz. Let's go. Look at the 2 times she's gone long on the turf. They've been very good. She won, and the other time she lost to Queen Goddess. Queen Goddess just came back last week in that American Oaks that was taken off the grass. She won that race. So, Mraz comes into this race in really nice form. 2 of her last 3 races have been really good efforts going long on the turf. And she seems like she's got a tactical advantage on this group. In any late exotics, she's going to be on some of my tickets for sure.
And one other thing to point out about Mraz is that we know the way trainers act around here. Michael McCarthy is very, he takes his time. He's very conservative.
Yep.
This horse broke its maiden, and he goes right into Graded Stakes Company and goes on the Kentucky Oaks Trail, which that's not his style.
Exactly.
So he clearly thought this horse has talent from jump, and this horse has ran lights out both times on the turf and could be controlling speed. So very interesting horse there.
And another thing about Mraz is, a lot of the attention has been on Johnny V coming over here, Hall of Fame. He's winning a lot of races. Pratt, of course, the perennial leader for the last few years. He's a big name, and he's been winning races around the country. But ignored in this fact is how well JJ Hernandez has been riding and continues to ride. He's doing really well, winning at 20% here at this meet and looking fantastic. And he seems to be a jockey who's overlooked in the wagering. And it feels like he's a incredibly talented jockey that you could still get a very good price on.
Yeah. The only thing I thought was weird is what you were pointing at Hernandez, which it doesn't bother me at all from I'm very fine with him on any horse, was why would Rispoli be on the other McCarthy horse? That's what's weird. He only rode that horse 1 time last time out. He's been on Mraz a bunch more. And honestly, if you're just looking at this race, it feels like Mraz, because of the pace, would have a better chance to win the race than Global Brand, who's probably going to have to come closing with some of the deeper closers. And I didn't see her as good as Luck or England's Rose or Bodicita, some of the other horses Chappie mentioned. But I did find that intriguing that, he ends up there after winning on this horse on the grass last time out. Just at least something to mention.
I think that's, obviously, I think that's a McCarthy call. That's not a jockey call.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, like you said. And
they worked together.
They worked on that horse the entire time.
They worked together on the 27th of December, and Mraz certainly outworked Global Brand pretty easily. Then again, certainly Mraz has got a lot of more early speed, but of the 2, I really like Mraz a lot better than Global Brand.
Yeah.
Especially like Lone Speed is one of Chappie's favorite angles, and I don't know if he'll be Lone Speed, but I don't see a lot of runners having the kind of speed that she has early. Yeah. So we'll see. But even more reason that we should get a price on Hernandez.
And my money's still on Luck. One more shot. I think Luck fires huge tomorrow.
Yeah. I got Pratt in every race, so I'm going to bet Pratt. Is there a place pick all? I'm putting a Pratt pick 5, a Pratt pick 6, a Pratt pick your nose, Pratt pick everything. All right, we're moving on to the 9th, which is the La Cañada Mile in the 16th, grade 3, and this one's worth $200,000. All right, I like Pratt. How about you guys? That's it. I'm done. I got Pratt every race. Pratt. But, how do you guys see the race?
Chappie, would you?
Go ahead, Gino. No, go ahead.
This will be the one where I may go. One of the few where I may go against Pratt. Also, probably with the 2 horses drawn directly to the inside of as time goes by. So I've been pretty impressed with Park Avenue, and I really liked the fact that she showed she can sit last time out a little bit more. So let's say Velvet Slippers decides to go, maybe Cowboy's Daughter decides to go. Park Avenue can sit. If one of them doesn't get aggressive, Park Avenue can get aggressive. It's that man Hernandez that we were just talking about. Park Avenue got parked out about 5 wide going into the turn there. See what I did, Georgie? You love that,
yeah,
right?
Very nice. Very good.
And that took me a while to come up with that too. That was, that wasn't easy there. As he just swooped. She just swooped the field. I mean, without really being asked. She was 4 wide and in between at the top of the lane. Just crushed. You were kind of waiting for her to get a little bit tired. And nope, that was not the case at all. She's got some speed too. In the race against Velvet Slippers, she just was a little bit behind, kind of in chase mode. I think she's a better animal right now than we saw a few starts back. So I like Park Avenue. And then Velvet Sippers will probably improve with that race under her belt. I'll lean those two instead of As Time Goes By, who I think will get a little bit more money, but I'm not quite sure if she has as much upside. I think we sort of know who she is now, and maybe there's a little bit more of a ceiling with Velvet Slippers and Park Avenue that they can take another step forward.
I'm with you, Gino. I think whatever the light bulb was that turned on for Park Avenue, obviously this is the acid test going against Graded Stakes Company, but my money's going to land on Park Avenue. But I think it's a tough little six-pack here. And George, I know you're a sheets and a numbers guy. What are your numbers showing you?
It's not even close. As Time Goes By dominates. As Time Goes By he ran a 1 last time. She ran a 2, in the Zenyatta. 4 zeros in a row. Nobody has run better than a 4. It was Park Avenue, and Park Avenue had been running 12s and 9s, and then a 4 at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Some people love Los Alamitos, and they really can't do that good at Santa Anita or Del Mar, and vice versa. So her best number, was her last race, so that's good, but it wasn't Los Al. So, and I'm not impressed with Fifi Faro, and so I don't think she beat much. I'm not impressed with 3, 4, or 5. I think As Time Goes By is the winner, and we'll see what happens. But Baffert certainly seems to hold a lot of the aces here with Velvet Slippers, and As Time Goes By, I love that one. All right, that's it for Saturday. Before we move to Sunday,
can I mention one more horse? Can I mention one more horse before we move on in the last?
Oh, sure. The last. You want to talk about the last? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think it's actually maybe the morning line favorite, but I think there's a lot of talent in number 4, Allegato.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the second race, this horse had all kinds of trouble and just exploded late.
All three races, this horse has had trouble and actually won one of them, but it legitimately is due for some luck.
Yeah, last time out had an awful trip and got caught wide and came flying late. First time against winners. I'm gonna, as I do often, single a few different tickets, but I will be singling Allegato. I think there's a lot of talent, hopefully being unleashed tomorrow in the finale.
I picked Pratt in every race, but during this seminar,
Hernandez has
been mentioned numerous times on his charges.
Could be a big Saturday for him too. I think one of the props on the Santa Anita Pick'em contest for Saturday is about Johnny V and how many races on the card Johnny V is going to win. Right. That prop was like 1 day late, huh?
Yeah.
Friday was a massive day for Johnny V. Yeah.
What a great day for Johnny and Bob Baffert. Wow. I think he's going to be sticking around here for a while.
Not a bad start.
Hey, Sunday, I do want to mention that we are going to have a lot of fun Sunday with the Corgi Nationals. Corgis are going to be racing in the infield. That is always a bunch of fun. I'm going to be narrating a few of those races. It's just a good time. And then the final race will be on the track, and I'll be the track announcer for that. So Corgi races, bring the family out. We got Family Fun Day. We got a $40 handicapping contest Saturday and Sunday. Just a lot of excitement Sunday. And the big news that Gino spoke of and that was broken by our management team with that money in the late pick 5, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's going to be great. They're seeding $50,000 into the late pick 5. So everybody's going to be taking an extra shot on Sunday. And there's some really good races that are going to be in that pick 5. A couple of the stakes races that we're going to talk about, races 8 and 10. And the 9th race is a first level allowance that's basically like a stakes. It's really, really strong.
All right, so let's get to Sunday again. Saturday and Sunday, first post will be noon. So make sure you jot that down. Noon is the first race on both Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday, the first stakes race is race number 3, the Kalukan Queen, going 6.5 on the dirt. And to me, you got a couple of runners that stand out in my eyes, Edgeway and Merneath. And Edgeway has a recency advantage that I think is going to help Edgeway edge away from Merneath. They're both incredibly talented, but you got Johnny V aboard Edgeway, who came back in the BC FM sprint, and that was a really, really good second. Cece exploded late to get the win. Gamine, a disappointing favorite that day, but Edgeway ran fantastic. Johnny V gets aboard this one. Stellar work on December 26th, 58-4. I'm not sure if Chappie saw it or not, but Edgeway and Murnith to me look like standouts, and I think with the recency edge, I'll give a little bit of an edge to Edgeway.
Yeah, I agree with you, George. I mean, CC was awfully impressive. Edgeway ran a second. I think those are the two horses, small field. One of those two is going to probably win the race. The only thing I can say is maybe the post position comes into play, whereas, Edgeway draws the rail. Last time out, Murnith drew the rail and now draws a little bit better cozy outside post. But I think it goes through one of the two favorites. I'm not getting too clever here.
I wanted to make sure we talked about this race because I actually think, and maybe it's a recency bias from what I remember from last week, where Hot Rod Charlie and Private Mission both ran races in the Breeders' Cup. Both were heavily favored. Both didn't win. A lot of times these horses that kind of aim and point for the Breeders' Cup, sometimes the race after the Breeders' Cup isn't as big of an effort. It takes a little bit out of them, or that was the plan all along. And then this is kind of like, they're doing well, we'll put them in this race too.
That's a good point.
I think that the way the race shapes up, Miranth is really quick and Maldonado's aboard. So they're going to go, right? Edgeway draws the rail. There's no doubt they've got to go. So those two are going. I wouldn't be shocked. Queen Gull isn't quite as quick, but I wouldn't be shocked if Pratt's just kind of trying to keep up there. I actually think that you can start to dig into Stellar Sound a little bit. Now, last time out, she was going long. She was behind as time goes by, who Georgie likes on Saturday, right? But that race was going long. The last two races are going long, so I'm not really concerned about those. This is 6.5 furlongs. Now we go 3 back in the Rancho Bernardo, August the 20th. That was a field of 4. There was no speed in that race. Edgeway broke on top, and Stellar Sound did everything she could to just try to shove from the inside to make it a race. But that's not what she wants to do. She's not as fast as Edgeway. In this race, Miranth will kind of do the dirty work for her. She should actually be able to sit the trip that she wants in here. She should be able to sit a few lengths behind. She won't have to be gunned throughout just to try to keep up with Edgeway. Maybe Edgeway isn't quite as good. Maybe something was taken out of her a little bit with that big Breeders' Cup effort, and Miranth softens her up on the front end. I think Stellar Sound could get a really great trip in here with DeSormo aboard. So I'm going to definitely be using her in some spots. And in a short field like this, she'll probably offer you really good value in an early pick 5 situation. If you can beat like Edgeway and Miranth and some of them, now you're talking about getting a ticket that's really going to pay out. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking at her because I think this is a good spot to maybe take swings against some of the shorter prices.
What's interesting, George, that Gino just said, sometimes, and we've been doing this for how many years, sometimes you get to a race and there's so much to look at. You look at a small field and just skip right over it and go, they can't beat these two horses.
Right.
Whereas Gino kind of looked into it a little bit more. 2 things about it. First of all, after the Breeders' Cup race, which is 1,000% the truth, because they all are good. They're cranked by the good trainers, and John Sadler and Bob Baffert are good trainers.
Oh, yeah.
They're 100% on that day. So they're bound to probably regress from here. And second of all, from a pace standpoint, they are the only 2 horses that go, and especially with one drawing the rail, it almost has to keep the other one honest. It could be kind of a setup for somebody else in the spring and upset where we just kind of go, 1-4, move along.
Yeah, and I don't know if Stellar Nor or Queen Gull is quite good enough. We've actually seen Stellar Sound show races that are good enough to compete with these horses and actually win in the right spot. I love horses like this that their form gets a little muddy. This is kind of what George was talking about with Oviatt Class moving forward, right? You look at a horse who has a couple races that you can build legitimate excuses for, and hey, maybe they're off form a little bit, and maybe she doesn't run well, but if she doesn't, at least I'm going to get rewarded at a price if she wins, and that's what we want to do here in this game.
Yeah, Stellar Sound. If of course, I'm a huge proponent of the Thoroughgraph sheets. Her best numbers ever were going 6.5 and 6. So her best numbers have been sprinting. So maybe that the Viacoa gave her some bottom, and she certainly could be flying late. And what's the name of that 4, Gino? Because you said the 4's name like 4 times, and it was different every single time.
Marinine, Marinine, Mary Manth, Marinine.
Either, but
everyone, right?
I'm going with Marinine, but I like them all. We'll just call her the 4-horse.
That's good.
Maldonado aboard.
the big M with the candy man. All right, let's move to race number 8. And in race number 8, wow, we've got the Blue Northerner. It's a $100,000 stakes race on the grass for filly 3-year-olds. Just turned 3. You got some speed on the inside with Mama June. We got a couple of Wells horses. We got Fuente Ovejuna, which means sheep wells, and number 5 is Helen's Well. And then we got Bella Bell. So we got a bell and a couple of wells to look at. How did you see this race, Chappie?
Well, I'm not well after that explanation. I have no idea what's going on. Interestingly enough, I think this race goes through Phil D'Amato. Although don't sleep on Leonard Powell with his shippers in. He's very, very cagey and sometimes often overlooked. The interesting thing is the 2 pace horses are come from the bookends, and they're both Jonathan Wong. One on the rail, one on the outside, both stretching out, and both seem to have all the speed. So that'll be interesting from a pace standpoint. Helen's Well, the key to Helen's Well, Rispoli, I don't want to. It seems like he's moved too late on this horse a few times. This horse always gets rolling late, has a nice turn of foot, doesn't quite seem to get there. And then Bella Bell, what can you say about Phil D'Amato? He seems to win every race he has with a Euro shipper coming in first time here. I have not seen anything on the XBTV how horse has worked or any of the races in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Gino has to say if you've dug into this a little bit more on either one of these Euro shippers.
Yeah, and I'll always give you if I give you a weird piece of information, it's only because I've also handicapped it too. I was like, what is Fuente Ovejuna? I was just like with George. So this horse is really cleverly named. This is the name of a play written by Lope de Vega, which is the sire's name of this horse. And play, so when you dig into the play, it's actually really cool. It was based on a rebellion in the 1400s where the ruler of the village was really bad and awful to the villagers. And so they rised up against him. And when they came to investigate this uprising, they asked who did it. And the only thing that the villagers would say was Fuente Ovejuna, Fuente Ovejuna. It's like a scary play, which is like the village did it. I thought that was really interesting. And now I was trying to find out where I could watch this play on YouTube. I was like trying to figure it out. So all of that being said, when I do that, it's because I like a horse. And I went back and watched this horse's race too over at Pontefract. And this horse has some ability, was just kind of 5th, 6th, about mid-pack, angled, widest of all, showed some ability down the center of the track. And it's all going to come down to the pace. With the 2 Wong horses, I think the real key is Fortunata Tencio. Can this horse also put some pace in the mix? Can that one show a little bit? If so, and now we have at least 2 horses on the lead, I'm going to use both of the imports. I'm going to use Fuente Ovejuna and Bella Bell, whose race was also very impressive, was about mid-pack. And as soon as this horse tipped to the outside, it was like snap and just started going by horses without even being asked. It was visually extremely impressive. So Bella Bell maybe a little bit more impressive. The connections of Powell and Brice Blanc are a little sneakier, though. Man, Brice Blanc is really good on the grass, too. Going long on the grass, he is a fantastic turf rider. So this is the type of horse who might get forgotten about in late pick 4s or that late pick 5 that that's going to be seated with that extra 50.
Yeah, I like the 2 imports as well. And like you mentioned, Brice Blanc, maybe people forget, but renowned for being a stellar turf jockey. And, he's French. He's with that French connection with Leo Powell. And so certainly Fuente Ovejuna is going to run well. But the Sultan of Saad, as I call him, man, he's good, especially with the first-time North American. If you look at the stats down in the racing form, it says first-time North America, he's winning at 25%. That's a wonderful figure. But there was a point where he was winning like 75%, like everything that came from North America to for his stat, his was sick, like ridiculous, 70% or something like that. Then he started tailing off a little bit. But when he brings these over in that last race, I don't know what kind of competition, but it was an 18-horse field. Yeah. That's a big field. I don't care who was running in that race. You had to maneuver your way through it because halfway through he was way back at 8th. So certainly Bella Bell, I thought impressive to win in an 18-horse field, and comes here to the Sultan of Saud. They don't take any chances. They go right to Pratt, and so I think Bella Bell is a big play in here. Fuente over Juna is got to be considered as well. And Helen's Wells, I think of the ones that have run, certainly has shown the ability to come from out of it and always kind of make some noise. And I don't know what's going to happen with the bookends, because just like in the Bob Baffert race, I can't see Wong sending them both, but they certainly look like they got no other way to go.
Right. They're both stretching out. They've both been pretty one-dimensional and really quick, too. It's not like they were like just getting the lead in a couple of their races. They were both showing sub 22 at Golden Gate on the synthetic. That's flying.
That is motoring. Yeah. It's going to be maybe one of them comes out. I don't know. I doubt it. But maybe one of them does. The only thing, two things I can end on this race. I mean, I agree with you. It's probably the imports. Helen's Well, the last 2 times out have had drawn the 10 and the 11 hole, which were absolute death down at Del Mar. So a better post certainly helps a lot. And then the only other thing I could say is not only does Gino come on the show, he tells us that one is a writer, one is the play writer, and then he gives us the entire play is about. Where else can you get information?
You're not getting that anywhere else. No.
I thought he was going to act it out. And then the villagers said, oh, no.
I'm learning a monologue right now, but I didn't have it memorized quite yet. So give me a few more minutes, guys.
He called me earlier. I was supposed to have a costume ready for my acting part, but we didn't have enough time. So we'll act it out tomorrow on tomorr's show.
We're gonna put that play on in the infield, I think, in the next meet.
Between the corgi races.
Yeah. Hey, all right, so let's get to race number 9. It's not a stakes race, but we're going to go over it. It does start the Golden Hour Pick 4, which has returned. And I love betting the Golden Hour Pick 4. Also pays really well. You got $1 minimum, so a lot of people are not privy to purchase a big ticket. Yeah. And then you got 2 different tracks, so that also, some people are like, well, I'm not a Golden Gate guy, or I'm not a Santa Anita guy. It always seems to pay extraordinarily well, that Golden Hour Pick 4. So I think it's also worth betting. But, I don't want to take anything away from, but by this point it's over. That late Pick 5 with the $50,000, that is the bet of the afternoon to Sunday at Santa Anita. But let's go into the 9th. Optional claim in 50 that Gino could easily have been a stakes race.
Yeah, very, very much. I mean, American Theorem is a horse who's grade 1 placed. It was very good at 2. He's just kind of had some problems staying on the track. That's been his biggest issue. Shooter Shoot is a horse who we've seen in graded stakes company and has now become a pretty good allowance type horse. I actually was very impressed with a horse who I'd played a few times at maiden special weight, and then he finally broke through last time out, and that's Who's the Star. And, the way that I see this race shaping up, it does look like American Theorem, who's going to stretch back out. I have to imagine they're going to be more forwardly placed. They're going to want to be closer up early. I think that with Maldonado aboard Secret Touch, they're going to be pretty close. And then Mongolian Wind is also going to be forwardly placed there. So I think the pace in this race should be at least honest. Shooter Shoot probably sits a little. I think it sets up nicely for Who's the Star. This guy settled about eight lengths off. And it was like they just decided at one point, like, I'm going to press the button right now. And he moved all the way up, went right by the field, and he actually looked like he might have moved at the wrong time almost, because he looked like he was going to hang, but he came all the way up, and he was just determined. He got gritty late in the stretch. I think distance will be no issue for him getting an extra 16th here. He's going to now make the 3rd start of his form cycle. And if you look at some of the horses who beat him in the last couple, you see Essential Wager, who just came back, and Essential Wager is the horse who beat American Theorem. Essential Wager is a Bob Baffert runner who earned a 99 buyer in winning that race at Los Al. You see Barbed Wire, who came out of that race to win next out and earn an 87 buyer speed figure. So I think Who's the Star has been keeping pretty good company. He's going to be set to make his best, and I think the race shapes up pretty well for him. He's 8-1 in here. So anything around 5 or over, I'd make a nice win wager on him. And he's another great horse to use in those pick 5s, the golden hour pick 4s, all of those late exotics.
Yeah, no question about it. Who's the Stars is one that that I've been on actually a number of times, and I think we're going to get all of 8-1 on that one.
Yeah.
Because just broke his maiden, so people are going to be going, oh, he just broke his maiden, and he took him. He only won by a neck against. Now he's going against winners and some really strong winners. But I've been on him a lot. One of the angles I love betting and following is runners that the stud fee was low, and yet they paid a ton of money at an auction.
Right, because there was something there that meets the eye.
Caught the eye, exactly. And so this one was only 10,000, and they paid 375,000 for him. So I think that's a good sign. I like the fact that maybe the light bulb was turned on. That was the best race that he's run. It was a gritty performance, essential
time, right? And he's not come back quickly, so he's been over a month. It's not like he's going to bounce off of that big effort. Plenty of time to settle, relax, and he's not a speed horse either. So I don't worry quite as much on the bounce with horses that are more closers that are going to kind of drop back, because really he's only got to run for about a half mile to a quarter mile, right? Once they press the button and then go. Feels like a good spot for him.
Gino, I'm not as familiar. Just a quick question, and I will go back and watch the replay. I have not yet. 3 times in a row, this horse has been off slow. Is it just a bad gate horse, or is that a little? No,
he's a little slow, and that's that definitely has hurt him. And I think it'll hurt him a lot less in a spot like this with more distance, right? Where he's gonna want to just kind of settle back anyways.
Right.
So I think if you don't really fight him at the gate and just kind of let him settle back, that'll probably be the best chance for him here.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if if it's his choice or the trainer's choice, but apparently looks like he could have ridden American Theorem and went with Who's the Star. So
you wonder, and then maybe that's a Sadler thing, because he rides a lot for Sadler, so he maybe thinks, you know what, I'll have more horses for Sadler than for Papa Padromo, who's a smaller barn. But generally, when you have a horse like that you go on the bet, you know what I mean. So that is also worth mentioning, George. That's definitely something to notice.
Yeah. The other thing. Go ahead, Georgie. No, I was just going to say, if nothing else, I hope American Theorem runs well. I know they've always had high hopes for this horse, and we know all the trainers very well, and there's not a nicer guy in this game than George Papa Padromo. So I'm always rooting for him no matter what.
Georgie. Yeah, George's a good dude.
And Bravo, he actually roomed. I'm pretty good friends with Frank Muramati. He was actually Frank Muramati's roommate. They shared a room together, and Frank always speaks highly of Bravo. He's such a nice guy.
Probably had a lot of pizza.
They love pizza, yeah.
Guarantee that.
In that room. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of pizza was eaten in that room, but he's also up for that George Wolf Award. So I'm wishing him plenty of luck, Joe Bravo, to win the Iceman Award there.
He's a great interview. He's such a great interview, just such a great talker and ambassador too. Like I always love when he gets a big win, because then you're going to get a really good quote from him afterwards in the post-race interview.
Yep. Shabby, when I think of a guy who's a great talker and a great ambassador for the sport, even though Bravo comes to mind, it's Gino Bacola that comes to mind a lot.
Yeah, that just melted my heart.
Gino Bacola.
Look at that.
This is like a Gino weekend, because we've got Gino on
tomorrow,
right now for the our preview here.
Right.
Tomorrow morning he's on with us on the Morning Line Sports Show at approximately 8:30 on AM 830, or at TML AM 830. Shameless plug. And then for the handicapping seminar tomorrow at 10 o'clock, he's on Team Chappie. So we can't get rid of Gino even if we try.
Sunday morning at bright and early, I'm going to do with the buddy Chase. We're going to do a pick'em for the Sunday pick'em contest. We're going to do a live stream bright and early at 6. That way you can watch it over again before you go. We're going to go through building all of the props and put our lineups in for the Sunday pick'em contest, just to show everybody out there how to do it, what all the props are. We'll share our thoughts on some of them if you didn't know what to do in one or two of them. So Sunday morning, 6 a.m., bright and early.
He never sleeps, George.
Never.
Well, tonight, after the ball drops in New York, his show is going to go on. And
right after, I'm sponsoring that show. You're going to see my head. That's what G said in there.
He's actually going to be writing the ball down and then jump off and do a live show.
Yeah, he's going
In
to
New
give an
York and then in
analysis,
California.
a trip analysis of the ball. If the ball had any kind of traffic problems coming down, the weight, yeah, all kinds of factors, man.
And then he's gonna write a play about the ball dropping.
If Seacrest gets any kind of an injury or something, I'm the backup. I'm waiting right now. So if I get my call, put me in, coach. I'm ready to go.
That's gonna be great. Tomorrow, it's Ellis Starr is gonna be on Team George and Gino on Team Chappie. So
by the way,
two stars tomorrow. 2 stars.
And it is at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Tom Quigley's seminar tomorrow and Sunday starts at 10:50. So we will be doing tomorrow's show, the Charity First Handicapping Challenge, tomorrow's show and Sunday's show at 12 noon.
Great. Yeah. Fantastic.
10. What am I talking about?
10.
12 noon.
10.
All right. Never mind. Lost my mind.
All right.
You're a little early for Chappie over there, huh? I was going to say, pop the champagne.
You think this is water?
All right. Just what the doctor ordered. I don't know what Chappie's drinking, but Eddie Logan always liked to drink Hennessy. He always went to Dr. Hennessy. That was his go-to drink. Eddie Logan, and one of the great stories here at Santa Anita is Eddie Logan, of course, shoe shine man here at Santa Anita, and now we got the VIP room named after Eddie Logan as well, and we got a stakes race on Sunday named the Eddie Logan, $100,000, 1 mile on the turf. And in this race, man, I really like a horse called Maglev. I think Maglev has got Rispoli, another one that's coming in here, invading from Great Britain. And I really, I thought the workout was great. Mark Glatt, me and Chappie have won some nice wins with Mark Glatt, especially on the turf. And I think the Irish bred that's coming in here from Great Britain, Maglev, has a big shot. What are your feelings on this race, Chappie?
Well, once again, since we have it's not the end of the year yet, so we can go back to our bad memories. And I wouldn't call this a bad beat, but I would call this a sneaky Pete. Handy Dandy, the 5, happened to run on closing day at Del Mar.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Barnett was named on Handy Dandy, and this was the last horse ever ran under Peter Miller's name. Yeah. And sneakily at the last second, Kent DeSormo jumped aboard, and the horse won at 25-1 like he was 1-5. So not that cost me the pick 5 and pick 6 and $17,000, but something like that. So this horse is very sneaky and won very easily. I do think that Magley, and I think this is a very difficult race, to be honest with you. Many ways to go, and I shall be spreading. So I do not have at this moment, at least, I do not have a big opinion in this race. But I do think Handy Dandy is a sneaky horse, and there was a sneaky Pete play on closing day. Gino?
Did you sense any animosity?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
No, I didn't.
I was gonna say nope. It's good. That's so great as horse players. We just never forget those, right? Every time you see Handy Dandy.
That wasn't long ago.
I know I was gonna say, but like 3 years down the line, when this horse, you're gonna still be remembering that one every time you see him. It's great.
Real quick, Gino, we'll let you talk. But we talked about bad beats a little bit this morning on the show, and Ruben Mendez was on. He talked about a bad beat from like 2007, I think, right, George? And he had every horse, every detail. Like all of us idiots do.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling him an idiot. Calling the 3 of us.
Yeah. And I guess they're not dreams, they're more nightmares now, right? When you dream about some of those ones that you missed, the specific numbers are the thing where it's like, gosh, you remember the exact amount of the pool and everything, and just that's a podcast and a show of itself that we can go on for hours.
We're unloading this. 2021 is over. This is all going away.
This is a release. This is a safe space. Get the energy out. Get away bad energy. Let's sage this thing, and let's get a winner here to close this out. For me, Saturday, it was all about Juan Hernandez, it kind of felt like. And it might be Sunday. I'm hoping it's Jersey Joe. I like Derecho Dandy in here a little bit. So first off, his first 2 races, they weren't very good. They were on the dirt. Look who he faced, though. Ovia Class, who we were talking about, Flying Drummer, who came back and won today. But those are dirt sprints. Those are a dirt sprint and then going long on the dirt. Not quite what we're looking at here. goes on the turf, wins going wire to wire, then comes back on November the 28th. And he had a good start that day, but there are 4 or 5 others that also broke well. And so he decided to take back a little bit. 2 horses completely ran off. And so he ended up just like settling down on the inside, and it wasn't his fault, but he was in the 3rd flight. And as the horses in front of him backed up, he just kind of had to keep backing up with them. And then he starts to move up the inside, and he's rolling. He rolls right into a crowd. There's nowhere to go. He tries to alter course and move around to the outside. He goes right into another brutal spot. And then a 3rd time, he goes back down to the inside, and he's starting to roll, and 2 horses in front of him like close the spot. 3 times this horse got shut out, and he was trying really hard too. So I don't think that he's like a need the lead type horse. He looked like he could sit and pass. He just had a brutal trip that day. And if you're playing him, like if you just put a line through that last race and played him off of the 2 back race, he would probably be a lot shorter price in here. But because that race didn't look all that great on paper, you know, he finished 6th. It was a lot better than that. I'm going to make sure Derecho Dandy is in all of my tickets to close things out.
All right, that's the last word from Gino, and thank you so much for being on the show, Gino. Again, that race culminates the Pick 5 that's going to be seeded with $50,000. Thanks to the management here at Santa Anita and the Strana Group that got together and said we're going to give back to the horse players, a really fan appreciation move, and I think it's just wonderful. So definitely sharpen your pencils, handicap that last sequence of 5 races on Sunday at least, and hopefully you'll do good. Gino, you guys got to follow Gino on Twitter, Facebook, you name it. He's got 87 shows going on. He's got some Italian plays that he's going to be putting together and reviewing. Mamma mia, that man does it all, and he's got a beautiful family.
Thank you so much.
We thank you. We wish you the best. I wish you the best every day except tomorrow when I go up against you with
there we go.
But other than that, I love you and thank you very much. Everybody have a happy new year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
And we'll see you guys. I'll see you in a year.